Did you know there's a place where you can celebrate New Year's Eve 3 times in a row without the use of a time machine or even a particularly wild party? Imagine the thrill of counting down to midnight, not once, not twice, but 3 times in a single night. Sounds like a dream, right? No, it's not a glitch in the Matrix. It's not some sci-fi movie plot or a magician's trick. It's a fascinating reality that exists on our very own planet. It's real. There's this tiny island chain in the Pacific Ocean where the international dateline does a little zigzag dance, creating some seriously wonky time zones. This quirky line, which is supposed to be straight, bends and twists around these islands, making time travel a walk in the park. We're talking about places where you can literally walk across the street and end up in a completely different day. Imagine stepping from today into yesterday or leaping forward into tomorrow with just a few steps. It's a mind-bending experience that challenges our conventional understanding of time. So, if you're ever in the mood for a unique adventure, head to these islands and experience the magic of time travel without any fancy gadgets or DeLoreans. Just your own 2 feet and a sense of wonder. Okay, before we dive into the weird stuff, let's talk about time zones. These invisible lines crisscrossing our planet are more than just a quirky feature of geography. You know, those lines on the map that dictate when we eat breakfast, go to work, and binge-watch our favorite shows. They shape our daily routines and keep our lives in sync. They might seem like a pain when you're dealing with jet lag, but trust me, they're keeping the world from descending into utter chaos. Without time zones, our schedules would be a mess, and coordinating anything would be nearly impossible. Imagine trying to schedule a meeting with someone on the other side of the planet without them. Time zones make it possible for businesses to operate smoothly across continents, for families to stay connected, and for events to be planned with precision. It would be a logistical nightmare. Think about it. Without time zones, we'd be lost in a sea of confusion, constantly trying to figure out what time it is somewhere else. So next time you grumble about jet lag or daylight saving time, remember the unsung heroes of our lives, time zones. They keep our world turning in harmony. Now, back to those wacky time zones. Time zones can be confusing enough as it is, but some places take it to a whole new level. Take the country of Kiribati, for example. This unique nation is made up of 33 atolls and reef islands, scattered over a vast area in the central Pacific Ocean. It's spread out over a bunch of islands, and for some reason, they decided to be different. Instead of sticking to one time zone, they span across 3 different ones. We're talking different time zones on islands that are practically within spitting distance of each other. Imagine hopping from one island to another and suddenly finding yourself an hour ahead or behind. It's like they looked at a map and said, "Let's make this as confusing as possible." This decision was actually made to align the entire country with the same calendar day. But it sure makes for some interesting travel plans. But hey, at least they have a great excuse for being late. Living in Kiribati means you can always blame the time zones for any mix-up. "Sorry I missed your call. I was stuck in a time warp." It's a perfect alibi when you're living in a place where time itself seems to bend and twist. Section 4. A history lesson. But don't worry, it's short. But it's not just about geography. Sometimes time zones get political. Let's talk about Nepal for a second. They're only 15 minutes off from their neighbors in India. Why? Well, it's a long story involving national pride and a desire to be unique. Basically, they wanted their own time. And who can blame them? Time is precious, people. Section 5. Buckle up, it's about to get weird. So, we've got islands with multiple time zones and countries marching to the beat of their own drum, or clock, I guess. But here's where it gets really interesting. Remember that incredible fact I mentioned earlier? The one about celebrating New Year's 3 times in a row? Well, get ready to have your mind blown. Section 6. Time travel, almost. That tiny island chain we talked about? The one with the wonky international dateline? Well, it's technically possible to hop between islands and relive the same day multiple times. You could celebrate New Year's Eve on one island, hop on a boat, and do it all over again on the next island. It's like a time loop, but with more fireworks and champagne.